everybody? Sean Milburn here with Milburn Motorsports once again today here at Sonoma Raceway for round 3 of the US Touring Car Championship. It's been a long time in the run-in. We're going to be testing out the RSX in a little bit here. We went out for one practice session so far and we've been having some issues. I'm a second and a half slower than I was before we added all the new power into it. So we're gonna be making some adjustments. We're gonna reattach the front sway bar. We're gonna pull the toe out of the rear and see what that makes it do. I was having an issue where it wouldn't turn on the throttle and it wouldn't turn on the brakes, trail braking it, and it also wouldn't lift off oversteer. So the whole car just didn't want to turn, and we're gonna try and figure out how to get it to do that. Sonoma, it's really important that you get that rear end rotation and you can get on the throttle a lot sooner. That'll give you a lot faster lap times with a lot better runs on people. So that's what we're aiming to do. Tom made a discovery. So we were checking the rear camber and just making sure everything was set properly. It's looking like this tire here, there's either no camber in it or it's the toes got pulled out. Something happened with the alignment of this tire. If you look along here, you can see what that profile looks like. If you look on this side, you can see what that profile looks like. This one definitely has more camber in it. So we're trying to figure out what's going on with that, and hopefully that'll fix some of the issues. We're also gonna go up there and reattach the front sway bar in a sec. All right, here we are out on the track. This is gonna be for a practice session. See the US Touring Car field out in front of me here. All taking it easy, just had a warm-up lap. Everybody's still getting warmed up, used to the track, getting their cars used to it, getting their tires up to temperature, getting their brakes up to temperature. So yeah, you can see they're not doing anything too crazy, going too fast, except for Brad Austin, Mr. Full Send, who uses as much of his warm-up as he can. I'm going to go ahead and follow him here. Now the goal for practice sessions normally is to test the car without doing anything that's going to harm it. So I want to be practicing my line, want to be refining it a little bit, getting myself warmed up in a fashion that's not going to be detrimental to the car's health or do anything that's silly. Give people space. It's not a race. I'm on R888Rs in the front and NTO1s in the back. That's what we use as practice tires. Car setup changes we did seem to not be doing a whole lot so far, though I haven't gotten it super up to speed yet. Now that we got a little open track with Brad in front of us, we can go ahead and start getting up to speed here. Car seems pretty stable up the hill into turn 2. Little management, someone hit the gravel in front of us there. Might be stuff on the track, a little bit. Going into 3, car seems to respond pretty decently. You can hear the tires in the front scrubbing when I'm trying to either get on the power or trail brake it into a corner. It's just having a really rough time responding to my inputs unless I go a bit too slow into the corners. The whole goal is to try and maintain my momentum through these without having to overslow and getting the car to rotate so I can get on the throttle sooner. That's what we're aiming for, and not currently what it's doing, though it is driving fairly well. Stable setup is nice for just being able to drive it without anything going on with it, in terms of it doesn't do anything silly. It's very predictable, very manageable, and there's no issues with it. So you can see here, entering 8, doesn't do anything silly, but if I could get it to rotate, I could get on the throttle sooner. Pushing a little bit in 10. Use all the rumble strip just to make sure the car doesn't come off the track. These tires here, get as close to them as you possibly can. All the way inside. That'll give you the best run on the straight you can possibly get. And we're back at it once again. I believe Brad Austin was actually breaking in his tires for a different series that he was running in on this NASA day at Sonoma. So he is on a superior tire compound. I'm not specifically trying to keep up with him. I am watching his pace just to see what he's doing, where he's going, what his line's looking like. And we're just taking it easy, even though we're going at a very relatively quick pace. I'm gonna go ahead and follow Brad through this pocket here. You can see everybody giving each other plenty of room. No reason not to. Tires scrubbing hard trying to come onto this back straight. So I know the car's not working ideally in terms of where I want it to be, but I'm still going to use all of this practice session to make the most out of it. Get the car refined a little bit in terms of my own capabilities and driving it, and being around Sonoma again, getting myself up to speed of where I need to be. Brad Austin pulls away super hard through the S's there, which isn't that big of an issue. I mean, I wasn't going for more. Gonna save that for later during qualifying. Listen to the tires scrubbing through 10 there. Forces me to use the rumble strip once again. Through 11, can still hear him. I can't get off the throttle and rotate it. I can't trail brake it in and rotate it. And on throttle, it doesn't want to pull it all the way through. It tends to understeer just a little bit. Due to the tires being heated up. So it is slowing down my times. 2 seems pretty good here. You gotta wait to get on the power until you know that you're not gonna come off the track like that. They removed those rumble strips in turn 2 now. So that inside's gone and the outside's gone. You could see the push going into 3 there. It's getting even worse the more I drive it. Trying to get it into that apex on 6 wasn't working. I wasn't even holding that much speed through it, and the car just didn't want to hunt. It didn't want to go to that inside, even lifting, tossing the wheel in a little bit to try and get the thing sliding a little. Doesn't seem to work. Have to wait to get on the throttle here. The car does have like over 30 more horsepower to the wheels than when I drove it last. Here, and it also has about 150 pounds of reward weight in it. So this thing weighs about, I think it was 2940 weighed in for the race, as well as making 245 to the wheels. But it's on 235s for the tire width, and it's just not enough tire to be able to hold that amount of weight. The rest of the competition has about 500, 400 pounds on me. And they're on the same size tire, so the power that we added to the car got mitigated by that weight, and now our traction and cornering ability also got mitigated from the weight. So the weight is really not doing us justice here. When you win in the US Touring Car Championship, when you get top 3, they give you something called rewards weight. And if you get first, you get like 70, 75 pounds around there. Second gets 50, and third gets 30. Somewhere along that scale. And that's just to try and get the competition a bit more even, to slow the faster guys down so that the field can stay a bit closer, and it makes it more fair for everybody. Because at the end of the day, everybody's got to have a shot at winning. It's no fun if there's just a couple cars running away from it, and everybody else doesn't have any chance. That's not where the fun in racing lies. Fun in racing lies in driver to driver, being able to compete against someone that's running an equal pace you are, or slightly faster, slightly slower, depending on driver capability. But just pure car strength and ability is something that needs to be worked on a little bit in terms of making things a little bit more even. I'm taking it easier now at the back end of this practice session, just because I don't want anything happening with the car. I'm not revving it out all the way. There's no need to. I'm not cornering as hard as I need to be. I'm just getting myself warmed up at this point because I know where the car's at, and have some ideas on what to do to change it once we get it back off the track. This is going to conclude this practice session. We're going to head back into the paddock and see what we can make of it. We put all the racing slicks on to prepare for the qualifying session that's coming up very soon. We need to run on these in order for our qualifying times to count. Right now I'm going to go weigh it. We reattached the front sway bar, we added some camber in the front, and now we're messing with the back a little bit, trying to get everything back to where it kind of should be. The car really wasn't driving that well, so we're just gonna hope for the best with the setup right before we go out in qualifying, and then hopefully that setup works better than the previous one did. I think it should, because the previous one was pretty bad. And here we are for qualifying. So this is the out lap. Everybody needs to get their tires heated up. You can see the Genesis in front of me being absolutely squirrely everywhere because everybody's just put on their slicks. You got to get some of that tire scrubbed in. Yeah, you can see right there. When you first get on them, they are like driving on ice. Look at that. So if the RSX can keep kind of that little sliding motion, that is what I'm looking for, though not at this low of a speed. I'm not going to press him here because there's really no reason to. We're all still trying to just heat up our tires and find ourselves a nice little gap to sit in so that we can all qualify without impeding each other's lap times. All of our different cars run at different paces for the different classes. You can see him working his front tires a little bit there. I don't need to scrub mine a whole lot. I do like some of that rotation I'm feeling, and once they get heated up, I know that that's going to start going away, because as the tires heat up, they get more grippy, and then as they get overheated, they start to slide. See that little bit of over rotation there. Just not even going that fast. The trail braking was working, but you can see the car goes from being stable to not being stable very quickly. So I have to be very prepared for when that happens, and I can't let it get away from me. Yeah, you can see these rumble strips again, they're gone. So no more inside rumble strip, no more outside rumble strip. Genesis is going to let me by. This lap is going to be about finding my spot on the track. So now that we did the warm-up lap, I can feel the tires are getting a little bit more up to temp. And from here on, there should be open track in front. Turn 6 is probably the sketchiest for trying this, because you can see I'm having to pull some wheel out of it to get the back end to stay behind me, which is really good. That does imply that there is rotation coming out from the back end, which is what I was looking for. See Victor in front of me here in his Audi R8. He still looks like he's warming himself up, warming his tires up. I'm hoping that he'll start to get moving out here so that I can have my own gap and he can have his own gap. A little squirrely into 8, that's perfect. Feels really good. So right now I'm like, okay, this is probably ideal for being able to set my fast lap. And if I could do this on this lap, it'd be perfect. I can see Victor still kind of taking it easy. So I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and pass. I know I'm not going to stay in front of him. But I figure if he's just going to be kind of driving at a slower pace, I'm going to need to pass him anyway until he decides to get up to his own speed. Here we go, this is the first attempt. Coming up the hill at a fast pace. Kind of blowing it a little bit. Car gets super squirrely. And I can see Victor's actually trying now, so I'm going to go ahead and let him by. This lap was already kind of scuffed, so now I can try and be a little more easy. Get used to the feel of the car. Now that I know that this lap is blown, I don't have to try and push it for a really nice qualifying time. I can just feel out the car a little more. It gives me a little more time to get used to it, which is probably a good thing anyways, because going full send on a setup that you're not entirely used to right off the bat can get pretty hairy. But right now the feel on it is just beautiful. Seems to be working really well. Car's holding power. The tire change definitely made a difference. These slicks work really well, especially once you're in their ideal temperature operating range. Alright, I'm going to be coming out of 10 into 11 here and going to be trying my qualifying lap again. Having plenty of fun. I know the car's working great. It's definitely holding a pretty fast pace. That's another thing. When you're behind the wheel, you got to make sure that you're having fun, right? It's kind of hard to not have fun, but when you get in the car and you can just feel it's working as you want it to, it's just a beautiful feeling. Again, up into 2, really sketchy, but that just seems to be the way it's going to be. So I'm just going to have to deal with that, manage that, and that ended up being a really good corner. This first section went really well. I was like, wow, this could be a really nice time as long as I stay in it, and then I missed 4th gear multiple times. That's going to really harm my lap time, losing all of that speed. Car works perfectly down to 6. That was beautiful. Feels really good. I know I need to do it. This lap or the next lap has to be my qualifying time. I don't want to get the tires too hot because I need to use them in the race. Mess up, put the car in 5th. So this lap is scuffed entirely now. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Victor get a gap. I want to make sure I have completely open track in front of myself. So I go ahead and slow down here. And this one has to be it. I can't be out here that much longer. I don't want to wear out the tires too much. Qualifying, you don't want to run the car the whole time. You're just out here seeking that one good lap. And once you get it, you cool it down, bring the car in, and leave it at that. You don't want to keep running it on your racing tires. If you do that, you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage for later on. Here we go. Proper corner speed out of 11. Onto the straight. Completely open track. No mistakes here. Let's get it going. Again, turn 2 is going to be sketch. I already know. Coming up, lift off, oversteer. Keep it together. Maintained good speed into 2. So that corner ended up being pretty good. Not as good as the one before, but still good. Good turns here. Maintaining throttle. Trail brake it into 4. Car gets nice rotation. Power out onto that rumble strip. Short shift into 5. Alright, here we go into turn 6. See how much speed we can maintain through here. The more the better. Really nice turn. Car's getting kind of loose, but that's exactly what I'm hoping for. Allows me to maintain great speed down that hill without understeering. Get the brakes right on the edge of traction for the tires there. Tiny bit of lockup, but it's not an issue whatsoever. Great turn 7 there. I got the most out of the brakes. Turn 8 up onto this rumble strip. Back on the power all the way out. And this is looking like a lap. Get it all the way over. Really nice corner speed through 10 there. Now it's all down to 11. Good on the brakes. Trail brake it into these tires. Really good speed through that. The car's pulling out nicely as I roll onto the throttle. I just got done with qualifying. That was by far the best this car has ever been in its entire life. Hands down, no questions asked. I shaved 4 seconds off of my previous personal best in this car that it's ever done at this track on any setup. 4 seconds. 4 seconds, that is absolutely huge. And it's in the 151s, which is maybe a few tenths off the Sportsman record ever in the whole series, like of all time.
I was just told it's the record.
It is the record. That is the Sportsman record of all time of the USTCC at this track. Mind blown. You guys can see that footage. You'll see like what I'm talking about of the car wasn't turning, and now you'll see what it does and how fast this thing actually moves out. It's such a different car now. Like just in that one time I drove it, I can tell the setup changes we did. We brought it over there and we actually got the camber adjustment plates and the toe adjustment plates out and realigned the whole car. And we tried a different setup. We reattached the sway bar. Dude, I'm at a loss for words. I really am. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And I hope I can do that for the race. I might tweak it a little bit to make it a little more reliable because driving it like that side by side with someone could get really sketchy. Yeah, so maybe pulling it a little bit out, that might do it some good, but a lot of me really just doesn't want to touch it, leave it as it is, because it's obviously working perfectly. So that's going to be all for today. We did everything we needed to do today, just the practice and the qualifying. We don't need to run the car anymore because all we're going to do is run the risk of either breaking it or hitting something. It's just there's no reason to run it. So we'll leave it as it is, pick it back up tomorrow for another practice. Gonna probably skip the qualifying because that's everybody else's job to try and keep up with that time now. I'll just use it for some practice, if anything, or setup refinement. This has been Sean Milburn with Milburn Motorsports. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed seeing that lap record ever set in the US Touring Car Championship Sportsman class. It was one heck of a time. Right now we're just pulling a little bit of the toe out of the rear to try and get the thing to not slide as hard, because racing toe-to-toe against someone with the car sliding like that could be dangerous. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Leave a comment if there's anything you guys want to see that I can do for you. I'll go ahead and do it. So until then, I'll see you in the next one.